How's it going, everyone? We finally have a long-awaited update on an upcoming PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 free game. The dragon fighting game, Century Age of Ashes, will be dropping very, very soon in just a few short days, so we'll talk all about that. Kind of a long time coming for this one because initially we had expected the game sometime in the middle of summer, but now it will be coming in the end of the month. So yeah, we'll talk all about that. Sly Cooper is celebrating its 20 years today. Now, we don't have a new Sly Cooper game to talk about. We do have some new Sly Cooper merchandise and pretty interesting PlayStation blog post, so we'll talk all about that, and a bit of an update on Plague Tale Requiem and how it is utilizing the power of the PlayStation 5. More on that at the end of this video. But first of all, Century Age of Ashes, just a few days away. The free-to-play multiplayer dragon action title will be released on September 26th. The game is already available on Xbox Series, Xbox One, and PC. I know a lot of people were excited for the release of this on PS4 and PS5, and that'll finally be happening a little bit later than we had initially expected, but hey, better late than never. Century Age of Ashes is a multiplayer dragon battle game now available for free on Xbox and PC. Customize your dragon, dive into the arena, and compete to become a legendary Dragoneer, burn your enemies, and rule the skies. Compete in intense online games and discover the fast-paced gameplay of Century Age of Ashes. Dive into the arena alone or with friends and fight for your survival. 3 varied game modes ranging from 3v3 to 6v6 await you in Carnage and Gates of Fire. Carnage is your 6v6 killing spree with special power-ups appearing in the arena to unleash hell on your opponents. It's team deathmatch, but Dragon Rider style. Then you have Gates of Fire, a unique mode in which 2 teams clash over the possession of the flag. Gain points by flying through special gates around the arena while holding the flag. You have Spoils of War, steal gold from mighty creatures and enemy team while protecting your own gold nest, and adapt to various unexpected situations. And then you have Survival Mode. It's every Dragoneer for themselves, pit against 8 other players in a ferocious and unforgiving free-for-all clash and burn your way until there's only one left on the battlefield. You have different playstyles with different classes, with 4 unique classes, each with their own unique abilities. Shield and Disorient as the Wind Guard, Track and Destroy as the Marauder, Stealth and Trap as the Phantom, or Rush and Thundershock your opponents as the Storm Razor. How will you choose your path to victory? And of course, quite a bit of customization in the game as well. Your Dragoneer style. Century Age of Ashes offers carefully designed cosmetic items to stand out in the arena. Gain experience as you play and unlock awesome skins to customize your dragon and its rider. Don't worry, these items are purely cosmetic and offer no advantage in battle and purely free to play in order to keep the experience fair and equitable. In-game purchases are purely cosmetic. Battles are won by skill and teamwork alone. So, again, initially dropped back in December on PC, has a mostly positive reception on there. Almost 14,000 reviews, 73% of those reviews have been positive. And again, generally speaking, a pretty positive reception all around, and it is a free-to-play game, so cool to see the PlayStation's repertoire of free-to-play offerings continue to grow and expand, and yeah, this one has been in the works for a little bit, so nice to see it finally get a release date. Kind of surprised the turnaround is this quickly, with the release date being announced today, and then the game dropping on September the 26th, but hey, we've been kept waiting for a little while for this one, so nice to see a release next week. And remember, coming next week is also Death vs. Let It Die, so a couple free-to-play games dropping next week if you are into games of that market. And you want to check out some multiplayer titles, you can check out both of those next week. Alright, next up, PlayStation Blog is celebrating Sly Cooper's 20 years today. Now, we don't have a new Sly Cooper title, but there is a pretty in-depth post from Andrew Goldfarb on the PlayStation Blog talking to a lot of different developers. Rob McDaniel, senior technical artist, spoke a little bit about memories of Sly Cooper, and it's a very touching blog post if you grew up with Sly Cooper like myself and many of you guys probably grew up with this franchise. I mean, I remember playing Sly Cooper 1, 2, and 3 on the PlayStation 2 back when I was still a wee lad back in the day. Rob McDaniel noted doing level design for Sly 1 was a great learning experience, from prototyping using Lego for the mugshot rooftop to countless level iterations that took place to get the feel and gameplay just right. I remember so many different variations of levels I worked on that even when I play it now, I can be surprised at what the final versions are. Sly 1 was our first big game, and there were multiple milestones when the game was very clearly at risk of getting canceled. To me, the biggest breakthrough was the milestone we invented, the Binocucom, where Bentley and Sly would hatch plans, but really it was a great way to give players directions without it feeling ham-fisted. At the time we were building Sly, so many games had been pushing the visual execution bar upwards in their cutscenes, way beyond what we were capable of at the time. One of our best decisions was to reverse that trend and make our cutscenes more graphic instead, which gave us something distinct and unique, but also avoided fighting an arms race we'd never win. Great choice, and one we used for all the Sly games and evolved for Infamous and beyond. Sly had a very cool visual style, and the cutscenes I thought were really well done. And I feel like that comic book style, that graphic look, worked really well in Sly, works really, really well in Infamous. I thought it looked fantastic in Infamous. Sly was our first game with skin characters, and getting his tail right turned out to be one of the trickiest bits. We created a bunch of failed solutions, including custom spline controls from the animators. The right answer ended up being to animate just the very base of his tail and build a real-time simulation for the rest. To this day, we still have tail simulations we use in this place. There's a lot more input from other developers in the blog post. It's just a nice trip down memory lane, and on top of that, they are dropping some new merchandise for Sly Cooper. If you're into that, they've got art prints, they've got t-shirts, all that good stuff. The art print itself, I think, looks fantastic. So if you do want to, pick up some of that, they also have a plush, like, doll, I guess. I think people get offended when you call these things dolls, but nonetheless, a Sly Cooper plushie. Yeah, if you want to check that out as well, that is an option as well. Unfortunately, no new Sly Cooper in development by the looks of it, and Sly Cooper the HD collection lives on through PlayStation streaming, so yeah, hopefully one of these days, Sony gets that backwards compatibility going and we can play the Sly collection, we can play Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, and maybe one day we'll get a brand new Sly Cooper title. Man, I think there's a market for more Sly Cooper. I think it would do really, really well from a commercial standpoint if you dropped a Sly Cooper, for a 2023, 2024 audience, whatever the case may be. But, maybe that's wishful thinking at this point, but it's a franchise that I loved back in the day. I was always more of a Sly Cooper guy than Jak and Daxter. I know those are like the two franchises people really want to see come back, but yeah, I just don't know if that's going to happen anytime in the near future. Lastly, I do want to quickly talk about A Plague Tale Requiem. Honestly, one of my more anticipated games for the rest of the year. Plague Tale Innocence was fantastic, and Plague Tale Requiem was a sequel that I don't think Asobo Studio even had really in their head to do before finishing Plague Tale Innocence, just because I think they were thinking about, how is Plague Tale Innocence gonna sell, etc., etc., but it sold pretty well, it was received really, really well, and now we have A Plague Tale Requiem. It's coming to fruition, and it is a next-gen only title. It is gonna be available on the Switch through cloud, but as far as a PS4 and Xbox One release, that's not happening. It was noted by Asobo Studios' lead level designer, Kevin Pinson, to Play Magazine. Specifically, we are a game about light. The power of the PS5 allows us to have more light and do more things with it. It's really expensive from a game engine perspective to use the light as a gameplay mechanic, but this current gen allows us to use more dynamic lights. Light was, of course, an important mechanic in the previous game, enabling you to keep rats away from Misha, but this is expanded with the use of tar. When you throw it at an open flame, that sticky stuff will increase the torch's flaming radius for a time, the broader the light, allowing you to reach areas you couldn't before. There is an upgraded version of A Plague Tale Innocence on PlayStation 5, so if you've yet to play that, go and check that out, because I think it's a game that you'll be pleasantly surprised by. It's not a super, super long game either, so you can jump into it, have a pretty, I don't want to say a good time, because the game is pretty, a pretty dark game, but nonetheless, it's a very engrossing experience, to say the least, and it is a narrative-driven title, but it hooks you in the narrative pretty darn quickly, so give it a look. I think a lot of you guys will enjoy it if you've yet to play that. It will be available, the follow-up, through Xbox Game Pass, so if you have a PC or an Xbox Series, you can play through Game Pass. Otherwise, it will be available standard-wise on PlayStation 5. That's going to do it for me on this one. Again, Century Age of Ashes finally dropping on September the 26th. Long time coming for that. Free-to-play Dragon action title. Sly Cooper is celebrating 20 years, new merchandise being released, and I really like the blog post. A nice trip down memory lane as far as Sly goes. So if you're like me and you're nostalgic with Sly Cooper, check that out. I think you'll enjoy that arena. And A Plague Tale Requiem, utilizing the power of the PlayStation 5. Excited for that ahead of its release on October the 18th. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.